So, I chose Philip Roth, and I really regret it right now because I'm going to read this piece and I'm going to have to follow it. So, this is from Portnoy's Complaint. It's called Whacking Off. Then came adolescence. Half my waking life spent locked behind the bathroom door, firing my wad down the toilet bowl, or into the soiled clothes in the laundry hamper, or splat up against the medicine chest mirror, before which I stood in my dropped drawers so I could see how it looked coming out, or else I was doubled over, my flying fist, eyes pressed closed but mouth wide open, to take that sticky sauce of buttermilk and Clorox on my own tongue and teeth, though not infrequently, in my blindness and ecstasy, I got it all in the pompadour like a blast of wild root cream oil. Through a world of matted handkerchiefs and crumpled Kleenex and stained pajamas, I moved my raw and swollen penis, perpetually in dread that my loathsomeness would be discovered by someone stealing upon me, just as I was in the frenzy of dropping my load. Nevertheless, I was wholly incapable of keeping my paws from my dong once it started to climb up my belly. In the middle of a class, I would raise a hand to be excused, rush down the corridor to the lavatory, and with 10 or 15 savage strokes, beat off standing up into a urinal. At the Saturday afternoon movie, I would leave my friends to go off to the candy machine and wind up in a distant balcony seat, squirting my seed into the empty wrapper from a Mounds bar. On an outing of our family association, I once cored an apple, saw to my astonishment, and with the aid of my obsession, what it looked like, and ran off into the woods to fall upon the orifice of the fruit, and pretending that the cool and mealy hole was actually between the legs of that mythical being who always called me Big Boy when she pleaded for what no girl in all recorded history had ever had. "Oh, shove it in me, Big Boy," cried the cored apple that I bagged silly on my picnic. Big Boy, oh, give me all you've got," begged the empty milk bottle that I kept hidden in our storage bin in the basement to drive wild after school with my Vaseline upright. "Come, Big Boy, come," screamed the maddened piece of liver that I, in my own insanity, I bought one afternoon at a butcher shop and, believe it or not, violated behind a billboard on the way to a bar mitzvah lesson. It was at the end of my freshman year of high school and freshman year of masturbating that I discovered on the underside of my penis, just where the shaft meets the head, a little discolored dot that has since been diagnosed as a freckle. Cancer. I had given myself cancer. All that pulling and tugging at my own flesh, all that friction had given me an incurable disease. And not yet 14. In bed at night, the tears rolled from my eyes. "No," I sobbed. "I don't want to die. Please, no." But then, because I would very shortly be a corpse anyway, I went ahead as usual and jerked off. I had taken to carrying dirty socks into bed with me at night so as to be able to use one as a receptacle upon retiring and the other upon awakening. If only I could cut down to one hand job a day, or hold the line at 2 or even 3. But with the prospect of oblivion before me, I actually began to set new records for myself. Before meals, after meals, during meals. Jumping up from the dinner table, I tragically clutched my belly. "Diarrhea," I cried. "I am stricken with diarrhea." And once behind the locked bathroom door, slip over my head a pair of underpants that I have stolen from my sister's dresser and carried rolled in a handkerchief in my pocket. So galvanic is the effect of cotton panties against my mouth, so galvanic is the word panties, that the trajectory of my ejaculation reaches startling new heights. Leaving my joint like a rocket, it makes right for the light bulb overhead, where to my wonderment and horror, it hits and it hangs. Wildly in the first moment, I cover my head, expecting an explosion of glass, a burst of flames. Disaster, you see, is never far from my mind. Then quietly as I can, I climb the radiator and remove the sizzling gob with a wad of toilet paper. I begin a scrupulous search of the shower curtain, the tub, the tile floor, the 4 toothbrushes, God forbid, and just as I am about to unlock the door, imagining I have covered my tracks, my heart lurches at the sight of what is hanging like snot to the toe of my shoe. I am the Raskolnikov of jerking off. The sticky evidence is everywhere. Is it on my cuffs too? In my hair? My ear? All this I wonder even as I come back to the kitchen table, scowling and cranky, to grumble self-righteously at my father when he opens his mouth full of red jello and says, I don't understand what you have to lock the door about. That to me is beyond comprehension. What is this, a home or a Grand Central Station? Privacy, a human being. Around here, never, I reply, then push aside my dessert to scream, I don't feel well. Will everybody leave me alone? So here's my piece. No That helps. I remember eating all my mother's food. This was also around the time my little brother Elvis got fired for stalking a coworker and had a mental breakdown and wouldn't do anything but write fan fiction all day. So I didn't have any money, I'm 26 at this point, and I was forbidden to eat any of Elvis's mac and cheese or tuna. And my mother doesn't consume anything except brie off a butter knife and Pinot Grigio. She is calloused and gaunt and lives on disability for her lupus. Dad died falling down the stairs when I was too young to remember. Anyway, so I would eat whatever was available. Elvis never ate leftovers, and he would leave his mac and cheese uncovered in the fridge, and it would turn red and taste sour. I would pare off the fuzzy parts of the one thing in the produce drawer, a red onion, and I'd eat it raw. I'd eat spoonfuls of mayo until I felt adequately sick. The mayo would stick to my facial hair, and I would enjoy it all day. Once I found an old box of Price Club microwave popcorn, and none of the bags would pop quite right anymore. About half of the kernels would pop, and the bag would get burned on the side, and I would open the bag, and making a puppet face with my hand, grab as many popped or unpopped kernels as possible and stuff them into my mouth, burning both hand and mouth in the process. It's exhausting to live like this, to be me. I need 10 hours of sleep at night so I can get up and fume and starve and masturbate 3 times a day and get into fights with people on the internet. It takes on my strength. It became a kind of conscious effort my mother and I had to starve each other, which I was always losing because she was never hungry. When she did eat, she would suck the food up, inhale it. She eats like an Italian mobster, but her only delight is in the destruction of the food, not in the taste or the texture or the act of filling herself. We were always the kind of family who not only had some emergency happening all the time, but if you came anywhere near us, we would be forced to coerce or guilt or cajole you into helping out in some capacity. Right now we're at an all-time low of 3 cats, the high being 12. Cats that constantly shit and knock things over and eat human food and other objects left around, to the point where we even designated a bathroom in another room just to be essentially the rooms where litter boxes are, the cats' bathrooms, which I think no other family probably has. Cats get old and their aim gets terrible, and they get the feces and litter stuck in their paws and they track it all through the house. We keep chickens in a city where the main export is that this website Zaz.com is here, which no one can really articulate what it does. She gets up at 6 every morning and feeds and yells at the chickens. Goes to bed, a glass of white wine having taken its nightly toll on her system in every way except ever desensitizing her to the effects of a single glass of wine. And that wine holding a special fascination for Elvis and I as kids, colored and apparently textured as it was, like our life-giving appy juice, but causing Mom to fall asleep and giggle and yell. Mom put herself through college waiting tables on roller skates until she could get a job as an 8th grade English teacher, which apparently you can do with just a BA in English and no teaching work experience and a foul mouth and cat hair all over your shirt. She talks about Proust and affects sort of an English accent on the pronunciation of certain words like disgust, although I guess that's a word that tends to make everyone affect an English accent. Back to the food. There used to be food. There used to be angel hair pasta with little canned clams, and peanut butter and marshmallow fluffernutter sandwiches, and tuna melts, and cream of wheat with the gelatinous raspberry drizzle dripped on top in the shape of a heart on Valentine's Day. I moved in here after college, and when I snuck a girl named Tara I met at a 90s party into my bedroom, Mom stormed in halfway through and kicked the girl out, made her walk home, and told me, "I never wanted you."